It's 6 a.m. in LA County, California. And I'm starting to wonder when Donald Trump's going to come out and ask the wildfires to maybe stop until after January 20th so he can make some sort of negotiation with them so that way they don't cause so much destruction.
Stop it. Get some help.
I like to keep things on this channel lighthearted and funny, but this is a really big topic. However, this has been such a comedy of errors that I couldn't help myself. So if you can hold on a little bit and wait till a little bit later in the video, you will see that I was able to bring to you, for you, an exclusive interview with the woke fire chief of the LA Fire Department.
So if you're wondering why you're dealing with these wildfires, it's because your state stopped clearing the brush. Your mayor in LA cut $17.5 million of your funding and spent all that money on immigrants. And all around the country, we've taken money from fire departments to make sure Ukraine is fully equipped for any emergency. Thank God it's less than 2 weeks till we have to stop dealing with this dumb shit. Except for those of you in California, you reelected the Democrats, so enjoy that.
This is a thing that actually happened.
Sky 5 unable to fly due to a temporary flight restriction put in place because President Biden is in town. But this is an incredible view of what it looks like from above.
Here is the flight restriction map. And the tweet says, "Wake up, people. This is why the aircraft can't fly to fight the fires over Malibu. Biden has a flight restriction up." This is just next level. And also, it's a little personal to me because I have a friend who's out in LA now and I keep checking in on her to see if she needs to be evacuated.
And this is even worse. The fire hydrants are dry.
Here on Lockman Lane, there are several homes burning. This is the one that firefighters were trying to put out a little while ago, but you can see right now it's just kind of out of control. Since then, firefighters have lost water pressure on the hydrant, so they can't get any more water onto this fire and the ones down the hill because of the water pressure issues.
Why isn't there any water coming out of the fire hydrants? Los Angeles has had 2 years of record rainfall. It hasn't rained this much year to year since the 1800s. Well, guess what? All the rain just washes into the ocean. A decade ago, California voted to spend billions on water storage and reservoirs. Today, Governor Newsom hasn't finished building a single one. They've done nothing to store water in a decade. Meanwhile, the mayor of LA has been out of the country the whole time. Mayor Karen Bass has been in Africa for the inauguration of the president of Ghana. What the heck's an American politician doing attending inaugurations in other countries?
An apology for being absent while their homes were burning. Do you regret cutting the fire department budget by millions of dollars, Madam Mayor? Have you nothing to say today? Have you absolutely nothing to say to the citizens today?
Nothing.
Wow.
Biden was considering Bass for VP. So who else is running things? This right here, ladies and gentlemen, this is the leadership of the LA Fire Department. I sure hope they know what they're doing. Here's the fire chief.
She took time out of her already busy schedule to tell us about her vision for the department's future, one that includes a 3-year strategic plan to increase diversity.
People ask me, well, what number are you looking for? I say, I'm not looking for a number. It's never enough.
Out of 3,300 city firefighters, only 115 are women right now. She's already looking at ways to change that. The chief also checks another box when it comes to inclusivity and diversity at this department. She's a proud member of the LGBTQ community.
So while her department was sending equipment to Ukraine, the chief was marching in pride parades, which is fine. Have all the pride you want, but you better make sure you're ready to do your job when it counts. LA County Fire Department fired a ton of men who refused to get. Bet they could have used those men today.
If I'm going to fire, I want a big, strong man to come in there and carry me out. I don't care about who he's in the bedroom with. I don't care about like any of that stuff. But it needs to be somebody who's capable of doing the job. This woman has California values, and you can see what the result of that is. They can't put out any fires. Good morning, everyone. I am so excited to give my first address as your new thespian fire chief. LA Mayor Karen Bass would be here, but she's currently attending a presidential inauguration in Ghana. Apparently, it was absolutely critical for our city's safety that she attend, with her entire family and a personal chef and her private hairstylist. Now, some of you may have looked at the $17 million budget cut to our fire department in a negative light, but just think about how much we're saving on water. And your taxpayer dollars are being put to good use by funding our local mayor's international diplomatic mission to sample every 5-star luxury resort in Africa. Karen Bass did take a brief break from the inaugural ball to approve of our fire trucks being repainted in rainbow colors. The old red was just so Republican. And we didn't want the public to have to constantly be reminded of the olden days when fire trucks were, used to put out fires and stuff. Our new trucks will better reflect our commitment to inclusivity. Yes, some have pointed out that they don't have any water in them, but that's basically a glass half empty way of looking at it because technically the glass is completely empty. Several neighboring cities have offered to send water-dropping aircraft to help with our little situation downtown. The one where half the city is currently ablaze. But unfortunately, they can't fly in because Biden is in town and he shut down the airspace. But you gotta understand that his speech about fire safety techniques is too important to be interrupted by some pesky emergency aircraft saving people's homes. But never fear. I have been diligently preparing my crew for a day such as this. They have all been working overtime, putting up no fire allowed signs everywhere. My firefighters are all certified in aggressive finger crossing techniques, tactical cat in tree negotiation, and standing in formation and blowing really hard, or as I like to call it, the Friday night in West Hollywood special. Perfect for putting out flames or getting them started. Now, about today's 5-alarm fire at the senior center. While the building was being reduced to nothing but ash and rubble, I am proud to announce that our team maintained perfect gender parity throughout the entire response. We had exactly equal numbers of firefighters from all ethnicities and backgrounds helplessly watching everything burn to the ground. Now that is real progress. And speaking of progress, let's talk about our new hiring initiatives. We are completely eliminating discriminatory hiring practices like the ability to carry heavy equipment and knowledge of fire suppression techniques. Those were clearly barriers to entry. Our new criteria will focus on what really matters, like, what do you do in your bedroom? People keep asking why we don't have any water. Well, that's a very narrow-minded question. We prefer to think of ourselves as a water-optional fire department. Besides, water is just a social construct created by Big Hydrant to maintain their power structure. Oh, I'm getting an alert. It looks like the elementary school's on fire, but our special response squad is on the scene. It's headed by my co-chief, Chief Raging Fire, and his crew of disabled indigenous rain dancers. Oh no, apparently the rain dancers have caught fire. But on the bright side, our new Flames Are Valid Too sensitivity training is really paying off. They're being very understanding about it. And the mayor just posted a very supportive emoji from her safari Jeep. Before I go, I want to remind everyone about our upcoming mandatory workshop, Understanding Your Flame Privilege. And remember, we're not calling them fires anymore. They're unauthorized thermal events. Oops, that's my cue. Another unauthorized thermal event needs my emotional support. Remember, if you see a fire, don't judge it, validate it. Thanks for having me on.
Apocalyptic. This is Los Angeles County. Entire neighborhoods are burning. Over 10,000 acres in Pacific Palisades alone. And the smoke everyone's breathing is being described as a toxic soup. 5 people already dead. They were burned alive. Hundreds of homes have been scorched. Listen to actor James Woods.
I called my neighbor who hadn't evacuated yet. I said, go in and check on him. He went, he said, the door's open, there's nobody here. He went in and yelled, he said, no, nobody here. I said, look, just go behind the pantry. There's a little room. We can see him during the day. He likes to sit there because there's a garden. He went in and found him. He'd been left alone. Okay. And it turned out the fire department made the new caregiver leave. And, you know, she just does what she was told. They said, we're coming back for him. Well, they hadn't come back for him. I'm hoping that they would have. But, you know, there was so much chaos. It was like an inferno. Every house was on fire around us. And, you know, he got him out and the house burned down about an hour later. He would have been in there alone. It was just...
This is the most destructive fire in LA County history, and it's still raging. 0% of the fires have been contained. 0%. Winds are whipping up to 100 miles an hour, breathing more and more life into the inferno. And over 1,400 firefighters are battling the blaze on the front lines, and they haven't slept. One says, I'm living proof that you can stay up for 96 hours. But they're outmanned and out-equipped. The chief says she doesn't have enough firefighters. Just months ago, LA Mayor Karen Bass cut funding from the fire department by around $20 million. And before that, the LA Fire Department sent their extra equipment to Ukraine. They probably could use some of that equipment now. Trump was just in California this fall and told Gavin he needed to get it together.
You have so much water, and all those fields that are right now barren, the farmers would have all the water they needed. And you could revert water up into the hills where you have all the dead forests, where the forests are so brittle, because no place is like California. I go to Austria. The head of Austria tells me, you know, we have trees that are much more flammable than what you have in California. We never have forest fires because they maintain their forests. And you have all that water that could be used to, as water, what they call water flow, where the where the land would be damp. And you'd stop many of these horrible fires.
Before Donald Trump left office, he signed an order that would funnel more water from Northern California into Southern California. Newsom, instead of saying thank you, filed a lawsuit to stop it, saying it would kill the smelt. If you don't know what a smelt is, neither did we. It's a fish the size of your pinky. California can't get enough water to fight fires because of a stupid fish. We're saving fish instead of people. Saving smelt, big business. If anything happens to the smelt, people lose a lot of money. We're paying people to feel like heroes for protecting a fish no one eats. But it gets worse. Gavin's been tearing down dams. Why? Because the Indians wanted some of their river back so they could catch salmon. Gavin didn't just knock down one dam for the Indians, he knocked down all 4.
The largest dam removal project in U.S. history, and one of the most significant, if not the most significant, water restoration project, bringing back salmon and steelhead into this basin. And I couldn't be more proud as a father, because my kids and their great-great-grandkids will have the opportunity to see something that, well, has been here since time immemorial. And it's about damn time. Words mean nothing unless you can manifest them. You got to make something real. You got to make the words visible. We mean business. We're going to be turning this over in a very short period of time.
And these dams were a go-to source for firefighters to pull water from to fight fires up north. Gavin's literally tearing down Western civilization for fish and Indians. Nothing against the Indians. I love the Indians. But really? LA is out of water. And the governor's staring at the fire with his hands in his pockets. Now, we have a rule about men putting their hands in their pockets, but this is neither the time nor the place to discuss it. People are trapped. Homes and schools are gone. And Newsom hasn't contained a single acre. The governor waited 24 hours to send in the National Guard. Water management, forest management, Gavin doesn't know what he's doing. Again, Trump warned him about this years ago.
Got to take care of the floors, you know, the floors of the forests, very important. You look at other countries where they do it differently, and it's a whole different story. I was with the president of Finland, and he said, we have a much different, we're a forest nation. He called it a forest nation. and they spend a lot of time on raking and cleaning and doing things, and they don't have any problem. And when it is, it's a very small problem.
And I remember how the media just laughed and laughed and laughed at Trump after this, after he said that you should remove the dead brush. They thought it was hilarious and called him an idiot. And look at them now.
Newsom, after the election, called an emergency special session in California to Trump-proof the state. Not fireproof it, Trump-proof it, whatever that means. Where are the emergency escape roads that were supposed to have been built? People had to abandon their cars in the middle of the road and run away from the flames because there's only one way in and one way out. Why weren't the forest beds treated? Why are we running out of water? Joe Biden hasn't helped at all. In October, the Biden administration canceled crucial controlled burns in California. These are critical to forest management. Canceled them. Today, Biden happened to be in town because he was supposed to designate another national forest, decided that this was the right time to congratulate himself.
Astounding what's happening. All I want is good news. My son lives out here in the way. They got a notification yesterday that their home is probably burning around. Today, it appears that maybe still standing, we're not sure. But the good news is, I'm a great-grandfather as of today. My granddaughter. Next time, baby girl, baby boy. So I remember this day for a lot of long reasons.
So Hunter's now a grandfather and Joe's a great-grandfather. I'm sure everybody who lost their homes is excited to hear the news. Trump reacted to the fires today saying, no water in the fire hydrants, no money in FEMA. This is what Joe Biden is leaving me. Thanks, Joe. In fact, California has a program to scrub white males from the fire department. Adam Carolla says he tried to apply to be a firefighter in LA once, but they told him to go to the back of the line.
I want to talk about my white privilege so badly. I could not find a job. I walked to a fire station in North Hollywood. I was 19. I was living in the garage of my family home. My mom was on welfare and food stamps, and I said, can I get a job as a fireman? And they said, no, because you're not black, Hispanic, or a woman. We'll see in about 7 years.
California is committing right before our eyes. DEI is deadly. The state spent billions of dollars on equity programs, and they can't even deliver basic services. Newsom spends more money fighting homelessness than fighting fires, and both of them are out of control. The state has a drug problem, a homeless problem. Everything's burning. There's no water. Bridges are blowing up. Migrants are running off of boats onto beaches. California is run by public servants who can't serve the public. And the governor looks around and says, I'm going to run for president. This is completely unacceptable in the United States of America in 2025.
I've recently changed the content on this channel from apolitical to political, so I'm losing a ton of subscribers. So when I say like, share, and subscribe, please subscribe. You would be helping me out immensely. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Red Dawn Daily with your host, me, Dawn Marie, and sometimes Leroy. Oh, you kissing. Oh, you got kisses. Oh, not in front of everybody. Leroy, you're cute. Leroy, you're cute. Leroy, you're cute. Leroy, yes. Yeah, what is it? You're so serious. Oh, okay. I needed that. I guess I did. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Bubba.